Hey, what's up, guys? Christian Brindle here, and I am back with another video where I'm having a conversation with people doing big things in the insurance space for agents. I am joined with Greg Etchison and Matt Letterman with Humana on the Medicare supplement sales side of the Humana organization. Gentlemen, thank you for being here with me today. And we're just going to kind of jump right in about having a conversation about the Medicare supplement product that Humana is offering, the value proposition for both beneficiaries as well as agents. First off, gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Fantastic, Christian. Thank you for asking.
Man, Christian, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for allowing us to come on here and share a little bit about what's going on.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate both of your times. Let's just kind of jump right into this conversation about the Humana Medicare Supplement product. Talk a little bit about, if you would, what excites you the most about the Humana Medicare Supplement proposition for agents?
So, Christian, I think what's important before we talk about what excites us about the future, I just kind of want to talk about the past. And so, as I've been here almost 6 months now, I've been out and visited with a lot of FMOs and agents and external partners, and some have actually said, "Oh, I think it's wonderful that you're there. I think it's great that Humana is getting into the Medicare supplement business." And what's funny about that a little bit is that actually Humana's been in the med sup business since 2004. And so it just wasn't a great focus. There wasn't a lot of attention put on it. So, over time, the rates did what the rates were going to do. And actually around 2018, 2019, really started to see some nice lift in sales. But there were some decisions internally made to kind of slow the growth a little bit and just ease up a little bit on the MedSup strategy. And you know what happened after that? COVID hits everybody. And quite frankly, that slowdown, obviously unplanned, just before a major event like COVID, actually unbelievably was the best timing ever for an organization like Humana. Because what that allowed us to do was not only keep our rates in check for today, but it allowed us to, in some cases, take rate decreases, in some cases, take some rate holds. And that in and of itself alone has really played a major factor in the competitiveness of the product, which in some cases has been out for 4 years and is sitting in that top tier of carriers. So I just think, the past actually helps you get excited about the future. One of the other pieces that's exciting to me is
Yeah.
the organizations, just their intent, right? They're going at this space with intent. And it was about 3-4 months ago, the organization made an announcement that they were getting out of the group business. And by exiting the group business, they really wanted to focus on this senior space. And so I really think that Humana couldn't do more to prove that they're in this business to stay, and they're locked and loaded, and we're ready to press forward.
Yeah, Greg, that is such a great point. Mine's a little bit different as far as the excitement. I think it really started as I've been introduced into MedSup. So I'm fairly new, which has been a really exciting experience. And I can tell you, I learned so much from our agents. And I think it's what's exciting me. Actually, Christian, when we were at your event in Salt Lake City, I remember agents coming up to me and kind of laying out their game plan. And I will tell you, I think it has some of the most impactful, informative information to understand how agents can play such a specific role in helping seniors make this important decision. And when I hear agents lay out all the options to seniors and they figure out what is that need that they're really trying to solve for, it just really helps our industry as a whole. I mean, it's really amazing. And one of the things that I had actually one of your agents tell me is that, you know what, they never forget that, a lot of times during the busy season, right? Like we're right here in AEP. And a lot of times people just get strictly focused on Medicare Advantage, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Advantage. But one of the agents said, did you know that almost 30 to 40% of Medicare supplement policies are sold in AEP? And I was like, man, I had no idea. I mean, and that is really cool to keep that focus and make
Yeah.
sure that you're sharing all
Yeah.
the options with the customer.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough, frankly. And there is so much emphasis on Medicare Advantage during AEP. And sometimes, I don't even want to necessarily say that the Medicare supplement gets forgotten about necessarily, but it's one of those things that sometimes it can have not as much emphasis placed on it when it is such a vital, important product out there to be available for the seniors. To shift gears a little bit, in the Medicare supplement product line, it's can sometimes be hard to differentiate when the products are standardized by CMS. They're, set across the board. With that being said, how are you guys and how is Humana standing out from the crowd? In other words, what is your why with this Medicare supplement product line?
Yeah, well, I tell you, Christian, one of my favorite topics. We actually have in a presentation that we do in a deck that we have. There is a slide that has our why on it, and it's that slide that from the beginning until you hit it, you look forward to, and then when you move on from it, you're like, man, I wish I could go back because there's so much greatness on that one slide. But kind of hitting them just in the first one that hits me at top of mind is we have a 12% household discount. And the piece of that makes it so kind of a why is that it's a live with someone 12% household discount. So 18 years of age or older, as long as you have someone living with you, 18 years of age or older, you qualify for the 12% household discount. And
wow.
Yeah, so and that's the majority of states on both Achieve and traditional. So yes, are there a handful of states where there's something that's a little different? That's not a Humana wants to be different. We're different because the state, has asked us to be different.
Yeah, Greg, I think another one that, it may seem similar, but there are pieces of it that are different that I think are truly beneficial to the member is really some of our payment flexibility. I mean, we've still got the same old coupon book. If somebody wants to cut a check and mail it in month by month because they like getting that hard statement at home, we've got that. And so they can have that. But we also have ACH. So, someone could, set up their bank draft and, give their routing number, checking number, and have that done on a monthly basis. But the really cool thing is that Humana is one of the only carriers in the industry that accepts credit card payment for premiums. And I think it was really important that we listened to our customers because they were the ones saying, hey, you know what? Sometimes I don't feel comfortable giving the insurance company my information, my personal banking information, or they just wanted to earn some points, right? Like everybody wants to earn points because they're going on trips or traveling. And this is just another way. But I think the really cool thing about that is no matter how you set up that monthly deduction that happens each and every month, Humana is also giving a discount of $2. Where you see most credit cards, you know what? You're going to have to pay a fee. Not at Humana. We're going to give you a $2 monthly discount, which can save that member over the course of the year almost $25. Now, it's not a ton, but you know what? Every little bit matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, and piggybacking on that, if we're talking about a $20 to $24 savings, I've got another one that's top of mind, and that's we don't have a policy fee. And I can't tell you in the last 24 years that I've been doing this, how many times in interacting with agents, they say, man, something I wish you didn't charge policy fees. And, up until now, I've told the story. Well, listen, this really helps with internal processing and underwriting and the things that administration that goes on behind the scenes. But I love the fact that here's yet another $20, $25, maybe more, depending on the carrier. So just in these two comments alone, back to back, we just found $50. I mean, so it's another why, another thing that makes us easy and simple to do business with. You don't have to explain to Mr. and Mrs. Jones a fee that even you don't really understand, if you're being honest.
Yeah, you know what? I totally agree. I think one of the other cool things that I'm sure is on a lot of agents' minds, right, and people within the community that are buying our products, is our pricing. And as you mentioned earlier, Greg, we had the benefit of kind of watching COVID and how it affected Humana. And so as we took that step back, we really looked and said, you know what? There are certain markets where we can get pretty aggressive from a pricing perspective. And we really did that on the backbone of saying, hey, you know what? What markets have strong Medicare supplement penetration? And where does Humana have a really strong brand recognition? And so we've been really pouring into those markets and coming in with some really strong pricing. But the one thing I don't want to forget is stability is key. And I think, everybody watching this video would say, what about your rates? And although we don't have a crystal ball and, we're incapable of figuring out exactly when or how or what increases will be, because it's all based on utilization, we can look at the past. And I will tell you, we have run in the low to mid single digits. And, that should give that customer and agent some confidence that Humana's not out there just to buy the business. You know what? We want a long-term relationship with our clients because it does nobody any good, right? To put them on a product 1 year just to move them the next. And so stability is key for us here at Humana.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian, along with kind of our rate stability within the market, I think another thing that's probably pretty important that maybe gets overshadowed or people don't know is how do carriers look from a net promoter score perspective? And that's really driving towards what that customer thinks of us. And one of the cool things about Humana, we have a 62 as a net promoter score. And, on the surface, people might say, well, that doesn't sound very good. Like, what's that range? And, net promoter score is minus 100 to plus 100. And so those companies that reach up into the, into the 60s, are really known for having excellent customer service. And I always say, Humana is striving to be the best. And when I was really looking at this, I was looking at industries outside of insurance that, we want to be the best at this. And we want to make sure that we're holding up our end of the bargain. And when I was looking at some of these other industries, I was noticing, Amazon's up there with like a 73. And I was like, man, that is a really good score. And I think everybody would relate that they have a strong customer service model. But one that I thought was really interesting is Chick-fil-A was a 61. And so although we're still chasing Amazon because we want to get there, we have beat the chicken sandwich. And I think we'd all agree that they've got some excellent customer service as well. So, Greg, what else do you think that we have going on that's really cool?
Yeah, I've always said this, every carrier has an extra, I don't know, once you become a policy holder, you get these value added services or discounts on things. And I've always said, don't discount the discount cards because, depending on what they are, can bring a significant savings to a policyholder. So I just have two that I wanted to call out specifically on our MedSup product. One of which is the Lifeline services, and that is not free. So that's the back in the day it was I fall in and I can't get up. That's a monthly membership that you pay in to have access to that service. We don't cover that. So just to be clear, that isn't a benefit. However, a significant savings on a monthly membership to that program. Deep discount. So I think that's important, right? Because not everybody has somebody living in a house with them. We talked about the household discount earlier. It's still amazing to me how many policies we receive that don't have the household discount on it, which tells me something like Lifeline services is absolutely needed and necessary. The other one that I think really touches the heart a little bit, it's called Welldine. And that's a benefit typically you would see on a Medicare Advantage type policy. But what that is once you've been discharged from the hospital, again, this is on a MedSup. Once you've been discharged from the hospital, you'll receive 14 frozen pre-cooked meals to your door to utilize any way you see fit. So you want to share them. Someone's coming over to sit with you and you want to share with them. I just think that is one of those benefits I personally am not aware of any other carrier that offers an additional benefit like that within their discount package program. So I feel really good about that.
Yeah. Last but not least, I think, Christian, have you heard about our bonus programs going on throughout the year? I mean,
Sure have.
if there's one thing to get excited about, it is the bonuses that we're offering. Just to pick one out, we do have two products, both our traditional MedSup and our Achieve. But to kind of highlight one of those, right now in the fourth quarter, we are running a $325 per app bonus for any product that is underwritten. We are also running a $150 bonus for open enrollment. Now, that is dependent upon the state in which, that policyholder resides. But what an incredible bonus to really start to drive some excitement around Humana, the different things we're doing, the different value-added services, and to kind of top it off, for doing all of that hard work, you're getting paid not only handsomely from our compensation packages, but also a little kicker for the bonus as well.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think, there's certainly a lot of a value proposition there for everybody involved with the Humana Medicare Supplement product. To kind of piggyback a question, you guys, off of the bonuses, right? Because that's certainly something that the people watching this video are probably very interested in knowing more about, being agents mostly. Tell me a little bit about why Humana would run such a large bonus program throughout the year and now into AEP, when most carriers are either taking a step back on paying bonuses at all based on the assumption that they're going to get the business anyway. Why is Humana continuing forward with that bonus when other carriers might not be as much?
Yeah, Christian, thanks. So this is really awesome. If this doesn't prove that Humana understands, I don't know what does. I hope this resonates. So yes, is our bonus program without question the easiest to qualify for, in that it's in your first app, second app, third app. There's no got to keep track of 4, got to keep track of 5, and then maybe they'll pay it, maybe they won't. If you just try us one time, you're going to get $325. And you say, well, okay, even at that, Greg, why? Like you could do 200 and blow everyone out of the water. Why would you have to go 325? Here's the why. We understand that in order to get some change to occur, there's going to be discomfort that comes in taking what you're used to doing. You maybe know a carrier or 2 or 3, their systems, their process, their home office people, the contacts. We are asking agents, hey, please pause that for a minute and give us a shot. We get it, right? An agent's time is incredibly valuable. And so in our mind, we wanted to make sure that the agents felt like their time that it's going to take to invest, because we're asking for an investment. The time it's going to take them to pick up something new and learn it and become proficient at it to where they can have confidence in it, that's going to take a little bit of time. And so we at Humana, we want to do our part and make sure that we're rewarding those agents and thanking them for the investment we know they're going to be making in getting to know us, getting to learn our processes, getting to know our system. And here's the cool part. Once they get all that down, my goodness, at that point, that 325 is paying off big time. So that's really the why behind that. And I hope that message, I really hope that resonates with agents and the folks that are watching this video. And I hope that lets them see that there's more to us than just Humana, and we think we deserve the right to have MedSup business because of our name. We want to get it because we've earned it. And so that is that's one way in which we feel like we're doing our part to earn the business.
Yeah, I think that's a huge value proposition. And I think it's really, letting the actions kind of speak for what the messaging is going to be for the agents, right? I mean, agents hear a lot of things from carriers, right? They hear a lot of things about, directions and things like that. But I think those actions are huge. And that's a hugely unique and incredibly valuable value proposition for the agents. I want to shift gears a little bit, guys, into how far has this product already come since it's launched, and talk a little bit about what you're seeing across the industry with this particular product line.
Yeah. So, obviously we had a vision as we started this probably 12 months ago about, what states do we want to launch in and how effective do we want to be? And I think there were really, a couple of things that come to mind, as we pick these states. And, some of those key areas are Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, and, Pennsylvania. Yeah, just recently Pennsylvania. And, you don't really know until you know, right? Like, so the state comes live and everybody's fingers crossed, here we go. And I will tell you that after those states have launched, you start seeing month 1, month 2, and now we're into, months 3, 4, 5, and sales are really starting to ramp up. And so I think it was, one thing from the Humana side is being very specific and very targeted about where we went in. And so we're bullish on, 23 and 24. However, Christian, I've heard you on multiple podcasts, kind of bring up the topics around Part D, right? And I think that that's on a lot of people's minds about some of those escalated costs. But I've been sharing the message around that Medicare Supplement, there is a need in the marketplace for it. And when you look at some of the data, like TELUS data, TELUS Actuarial, it'll really show that, there's a little over 14.5 million Med Sup members. And when you strip out the D-SNP and the group Medicare out of the Medicare Advantage, it really shrinks that number and there's not that wide of a gap. And so there are a lot of beneficiaries that find value in Med Sup. And although that Part D may be rising, I am always confident in companies like Humana to come up with innovative strategies to meet the market where it's going. And so I don't have that crystal ball of what we're doing next and how we're going to overcome some of these. But you know what? Companies do great things when their back's against the wall. And I think that this industry will thrive and survive. And so I'm excited and bullish about the future. And I think that Medicare Supplement's got a key place in the market.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And if you kind of look at over the last couple of years, I mean, clearly we, because I agree with everything you said, we are not alone, and Matt is not alone in his thinking, right? There must be a lot of us that feel this way about Med Sup because, if you look at the industry over the last couple of years, there have been several new entrants come into the market. There's bigger players, right? I mean, and there's been several smaller players come into the market. And all of which, right, cause a disruption, all of which create a need for some attention given to them. And yeah, does that pull away from the things like that we're trying to do? Yeah, it does a little bit. And not all of those carriers are for every agent. So I think there's certainly plenty of agents to be successful with across the country. There's certainly plenty of potential policyholders or potential applicants across the country that we can all be successful together. But I just think that, if you look at this, of what's coming up with the Part D and the rising cost of that, I think that Med Advantage is going to continue to gain some space. So as I was saying before, I think there will continue to be maybe some smaller carriers enter the market. I think that Medicare Advantage is going to continue to gain some ground, but I don't think it's going to take over I don't think it's going to take over by any stretch. And I know Matt cited some facts and figures from that study that was done. And to me, I just think there is always going to be a place for freedom of choice. And I think we're already hearing some interesting announcements around Part D. Some carriers are taking bigger swings than others. And so clearly everyone is looking for a solution, right, to combat these rising costs. So yeah, does it put some pressure on the product that we really are here to talk about today when you add the cost together? Sure it does. But at the same point, there are people out there who would still argue and say, you know what, though? It still gives me the freedom and flexibility, and I'm willing to pay for that. So I am, in spite of somewhat you could call maybe a bit of a headwind, I'm still bullish and excited about the growth potential for Medicare Supplement for sure, industry wide, not just Humana.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think that's a message that the industry needs to hear, and I think that the agents need to hear, to know that Medicare supplement, it's not a doomsday thing. Kind of in the future with Medicare supplements. I think a good place to kind of pivot, with that conversation is really talking about the Humana Medicare Supplement future. What do you guys view as the long-term vision with this product line for Humana?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, absolutely nothing but growth, right? And growth can take on multiple forms, right? Growth can mean product expansion. It can mean growing the team. There's all kinds of things. But I think for us, it's not just about product, because really product you can set over here. It's about finding ways to be simpler and easy to do business with. It's one of the things that when I came into Humana, I said, it's not enough to lower your rates because you're Humana and therefore demand sales. That's not how this works. I've been doing this too long. There's a fourth leg in the stool. I think the stool has become a chair because it used to be just give me competitive rate, give me great service, and give me competitive commissions. Well, guess what? That fourth leg, it's got to be simple. And I've asked agents point blank today, if you hit on these other three that used to be critical without the simplicity piece, what have you got? And their response every time is nothing. You can have all three of those dialed in. And if it's clunky, if it's hard for me to do, if it feels like it's a process that I just don't have the energy for, I'm going to pivot to somebody else that is simple. And then I can explain my way through a couple of the other nuances if I have to. So where we want to go to, Christian, is not only having great product, we want to have best-in-class service. We want to be easy to do business with, easy to get in touch with, and really, we just think that the opportunity is there. Don't take that in that we aren't there today. We have some great processes today in place. That's not at all what I mean, because if we didn't, we wouldn't be seeing the sales growth that we're seeing. What I mean is, I don't want anyone to think for a second that we are resting on that. There's always room for improvement, and we are absolutely laser focused. We've got a list a mile long of great to haves. And so I want to make sure that those watching this and listening to this know we are just getting started. And I want to make sure that they know that they've been heard. We are listening, and we will continue to do what we can to make this an obvious choice when it comes to working with their clients and making a selection.
Yeah. Christian, when I think about the future and Humana, it really started with our vision, and sometimes, and then kind of, what's the strategy? And sometimes that can get really overdone and big and bold, and nobody understands it. I think we boiled it down to really three key areas that I'd want to leave people with. One, you got to have competitive premium. You have to. Or guess what? Nobody's even looking at you. And so we're taking care of that because we know it's important. Although we may not be number one, in every market, I can tell you when we do open a product, it is going to be competitive. And then when you lay on top all of those additional value-added services that we've discussed in this video, I think it will make more and more sense. But I think the second piece of that is best experience. People want a really good, easy experience, as Greg alluded to. And that can come in a multitude of forms. And I can tell you, the most recent one, and we heard loud and clear from the customer, and Humana delivered real-time underwriting. And so people are able to go through the application process, right? And then within 60 seconds to 2 minutes, boom, they've got an answer. Am I approved, declined, or what? Do I need to provide a little bit more information to finish up this app? And I think that's key, is listening to that customer. But the last thing, and I will tell you that Greg, and I preach this from the altar, right, is that broker relationships are absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Humana doesn't stand anywhere without the agents in the community day in and day out doing the hard work that we know that we need their support from. And I will tell you, it's folks like you, Christian, that are able to send out this type of information, be that education, be that voice in the community for people to get the information and knowledge they need to best serve these customers. And I think when you add those three things on top, it leads to a great growth path for Humana.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff, you guys. I for one, am very excited about, everything that Humana's doing in the Medicare supplement market. Certainly appreciate both of you and your time today. I want to be respectful of your time, so we'll kind of close it out there. But thank you for everything that you guys came on and shared today. And, we certainly appreciate the partnership with Humana and my organization and everything Humana does. And so thank you for that. And thank you for the time today and coming on and sharing this. I bet there's a bunch of stuff that was talked about on here that a lot of agents didn't know is part of that value proposition on that Humana Medicare Supplement product right now.
Yeah, thank you very much. We really have been looking forward to this, and I appreciate you at being able to adjust your schedule to accommodate ours. And thank you for doing your part to get the message out there. It's wonderful. And like I said, really, we are here because of the agents, because of you. And without all of you, they don't need any of us. So I want to make sure if there's parting words, right, I want to make sure everybody understands we get that. We get that. And we're laser focused on it. And so thank everybody for their time today. Thank you for the opportunity. Give us an app. Give us 2. I think it'll turn into 5. I think it'll turn into 25. I really do. And come along for the ride with us, because really there aren't very many opportunities out there left, Christian, and you know this, to jump on early of a Fortune 500 company, actually a Fortune 50 company, and get in on not the ground floor of the product, the ground floor of really the takeoff and the growth of what they already have. So we have capacity. We've got plenty of room. We'll take everybody that wants to come along. So thank you.
I love it. Thanks again, guys. This was great. Guys, if, Humana's not at the forefront in your Medicare supplement portfolio, it should be. So hopefully this video was helpful for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do us a favor. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time with another video. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.